We are calling this segment NBA Trendsetters, so which trends that bettors need to know about on each game tonight. 5 games on this NBA slate, and also which bet you are betting. Heat at the Hornets here. All right, so the Heat, now 5-point favorites, going for a 5th straight road win, dudes. Hornets 2-8 in their last 10, third meeting this season. Heat have won both games, so what you doing here, Nick?
Well, I think when you look at this slate in general, right, it's a small slate and everything, or right before the All-Star break and everything. We were talking a little before about on the DFS side how there may be concerns with some of the top players where they may not be getting as much action, limiting minutes, kind of going on vacation early. So for me, that is kind of leaning me towards some of the props more so tonight. And when I look at that Heat Hornets game, of course, Jimmy Butler has a big impact on that game. And I think Bam Adebayo, as much as I do like him on the DFS side regardless, I do want to wait on his props until we get the update on Jimmy Butler status. My favorite prop right now in that game is Terry Rozier going over 20.5 points. I talked about it a little bit earlier how he's been averaging right around 20 shots per game since Gordon Hayward's been out. I know it's only 5 games, but Gordon Hayward's still out, so that's all that matters. And about half of those have been around 3-pointers too. He's getting to the free throw line a little bit lately too, so the point is he's getting a lot of volume. He's getting the minutes, of course, as well too. And I think the biggest focus for Miami tonight, like any time that you're playing Charlotte, is going to be stopping LaMelo Ball. For Terry Rozier, that's going to make a big difference for him. The last time that he saw the Heat, he was 5 points under going the over on this total, but Hayward was in that game too, and he wasn't getting the same kind of volume. So I think when you're looking at betting this game, Terry Rozier's points prop, taking the over on that is the way to go.
All right, Garion, what's the way to go here?
Yeah, I'm not afraid of the spread in this game. I just don't think the Hornets have it, and I trust the Heat. Even if Jimmy Butler doesn't play, I think Kyle Lowry and Bam Adebayo are enough to beat this Hornets team, a team that has a -6 rating. They've been outscored by 6 points per 100 possessions across their last 10 games. It's just been bad. Whereas the Heat are 5-0 ATS their last 5 games as a road favorite. The Hornets are also 0-8 OTS their last 8 home games. They just have not been able to do anything in Charlotte. So I will take the Heat -5 here.
All right, let's go Wizards at the Nets. The Nets are also 5-point favorites, home favorites, so they've won 2 in a row. They're back on track, baby, after losing 8 straight, including last night over the Knicks. So, Gary, which bet is worth targeting here?
So I'm going to go to the props on this one. And I know Matt Meiselman was a little worried that Kyle Kuzma might sit out tonight because he's just had to take on so much volume lately. If Kuzma plays, I think he will. Again, we have to really, really specify here that there has been no indication that Kyle Kuzma will not play in this game as of right now. I like Kuzma to go over 4.5 assists at plus money. This is plus 120 right now. Kuzma is not only the best positional rebounder on this team and their top scorer, but right now he's playing faux point guard for a team that just doesn't have any point guards left, or great point guards left. He's gone over this number in 3 of his last 4 games. He's also averaging a team-high 9.5 potential assists in that 4-game span. So at plus money, I think this is a really enticing prop.
Anything enticing to you, Nick?
Yeah, I mean, Andre Drummond's a guy I like a lot tonight going up against the Wizards. When we talked about the Nets, obviously, I had them not covering against the Kings earlier in the week. Then the Kings fell flat on their face. No Kyrie Irving in that game, of course, no KD, didn't matter. And then the Nets go to the Nets go to the Garden, and then after they fall behind big, then the Knicks somehow end up choking. Which, I mean, it's the Knicks, so understandable. But still, I thought they would have got the job done there because, again, the Nets are without their 2 best guys. So I feel a little bit uncomfortable when it comes to talking about the spread here. Andre Drummond, to go back to that, his props, his points prop right now is at 10.5. I like the over on that one as well. The Wizards, again, they're not good against defending opposing bigs. They've given up the 2nd most points per game to the position this season, to the center position that is. And Tristan Thompson, like I mentioned earlier, he went off for 17 points in 21 minutes, and then he got waived so that he could go play for the Bulls. That happened just yesterday. And the Wizards, the over goes. The over hits in Wizards games when they're on the 2nd leg of a back-to-back. It's 6 out of the 7 times that's happened this season. And the Wizards are 8th in the 8th worst team in defensive rating too. So I like Drummond at least getting 11 tonight.
All right, some great trends you mentioned there, which is why we called this segment NBA Trendsetters. Guys, let's go straight here to Sixers and Bucks. So the Bucks, 6.5-point home favorites. Giannis, as we mentioned at the top of the show, just put up a 50-point masterpiece against the Pacers. Philly still without Harden, just got throttled by Boston. So Gare Bear, where are you going?
Do want to say quickly, we just got a report out of Miami that it looks like Jimmy Butler is going to play tonight. He's on track to play, according to Eric Spoelstra. So do with that what you will. Going to Bucks 76ers, The prop that really stands out to me on this particular game is Tobias Harris under 1.5 3-pointers made. He's just stopped shooting threes. I mean, Philadelphia isn't a team that shoots a lot of threes anyway, and they're going to shoot a whole lot less of them now that Seth Curry is not part of this team. But he's only having 22.6% of his field goal attempts be 3-pointers this season. That's the lowest total in a while. And only 27% of those attempts have come from the corner, which is a career low mark for Tobias Harris. He didn't even attempt a three in that game against Boston, which is mind-blowing to me. I mean, Tobias Harris is a pretty good 3-point shooter, so I know it's juiced up a little bit, but I just don't think he's going to make 2 3-pointers in this game because he might only attempt 2 3-pointers.
Nick, what do you like here?
I know I said I was going to be prop heavy for this one, for the whole slate, but I like the Bucks actually in the spread on this one at -6.5. I know if you go and look at their spread numbers, they are sub 500 against the spread. And I know that the Sixers are a little bit better, but they are also still sub 500 against the spread. But I'm not as interested in the Sixers numbers right now because Seth Curry's gone. Andre Drummond, for whatever role you want to give him, he's gone as well. And James Harden isn't playing yet. And we saw what happened against the Celtics the other day. I don't expect that to happen. No, it was a 48-point win for the Celtics. Obviously, that should not happen again tonight to the 76ers. But when you look at what the Bucks have done offensively recently, in 4 of their last 6 games, they've scored 128 points or more. Giannis did not play in one of the games where they didn't score that many points. And then Philly, since the trade deadline, I know it's only been a few games, but they've been anywhere from 103 to 87 points. So right now, I know that we're thinking that Giannis might get a lot of minutes. I still like him on the DFS side, but this could end up being a pretty comfortable win for the Bucks tonight. So I do like them at -6.5.